All right, so weight loss. That's obviously something a lot of our listeners are thinking about.
Yeah.
And let's be real, it can feel like everyone's got a different opinion on how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
So today we're going deep on a book that challenges a lot of conventional wisdom. The Obesity Code by Dr. Jason Fung.
Yeah.
Ready to unpack this?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And I think one of the most interesting things about Fung's approach is that he kind of throws out that traditional calories in, calories out idea, you know, that sort of simplified view of weight loss.
Yeah.
Instead, he really focuses on the role of hormones,
Okay.
particularly insulin, and how it impacts our weight a lot more than we might think.
So it's not as simple as like, just eat less and move more.
Not quite.
There's more to it.
Yeah, it's like you could be watching every calorie, going to the gym religiously, and still not seeing the results you're looking for.
No.
And Fung argues that that's because if your insulin levels are constantly high, your body's basically stuck in fat storage mode. It doesn't matter how much you're exercising or how little you're eating.
Wow, that's kind of a game changer.
It is.
Like our bodies are working against us even when we're trying to do all the right things.
Yeah.
So tell me more about this whole insulin thing.
Yeah.
So how does it actually work?
So basically when you eat, especially foods that are high in refined carbohydrates and sugars, right, things like white bread, candy, your blood sugar levels go up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that triggers the release of insulin. And insulin's job is to act like a key.
Okay.
It unlocks your cells so the glucose can get in there and be used for energy.
Okay.
All good so far, right?
Right.
But here's where things get a little tricky.
Okay.
If we eat more glucose than our cells need for energy right then and there, insulin's like, all right, we got to store this somewhere. And guess where it goes?
I'm guessing fat.
Exactly, as fat.
Okay, so insulin is like this master regulator deciding, does this food become energy or does it get stored away for later?
Right.
And if it's constantly telling our bodies to store well, then we're in trouble.
Yeah. And to make things even more complicated over time, our cells can actually become less sensitive to insulin.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a condition called insulin resistance.
Okay.
And this means your pancreas has to work even harder.
Oh.
Pumping out even more insulin to get the job done. And it creates this vicious cycle, a high insulin, more fat storage.
Oh, so we have this hormone that's supposed to be helping us.
Yeah.
But it can actually be like this major obstacle to losing weight.
Right. Hitting the brakes on your metabolism.
You're putting in the work, but your body's not cooperating.
Nope.
So if insulin is the problem here, how do we fix it?
Right.
How do we get our bodies to cooperate?
Well, that's where Dr. Fung's ideas come in.
Okay.
He suggests two main tools to manage insulin levels and really unlock that door to sustainable weight loss.
Okay, and what are they?
Intermittent fasting and a low carbohydrate diet.
Okay, I've heard of both of those,
Boy,
but to be honest, they both sound a little intimidating.
I hear you.
Let's start with intermittent fasting. What is that exactly?
Okay, so it's not about starving yourself.
Okay.
It's more like strategic eating.
Okay.
So you're basically incorporating planned periods of not eating into your routine.
Okay.
You're giving your body a break from constantly digesting food.
Yeah.
And this allows insulin levels to drop way down. And that shifts your body from burning glucose for energy to burning stored fat.
Oh, so we're giving our bodies a chance to actually use up the energy that we've stored instead of just constantly relying on the food that's coming in.
Right. And the great thing about intermittent fasting is that it's flexible.
Okay.
There are different protocols. The 168 method where you fast for 16 hours and eat in an 8-hour window.
Okay.
Or the 5.2 method where you eat normally for 5 days and restrict calories for 2. It's really about finding what works for you and your lifestyle.
So it's not about starving yourself. It's about being more mindful of when you eat.
Exactly.
Okay, that's making a lot more sense.
Okay.
But what about the food choices during those eating windows?
Right.
Is that where the low-carb part comes in?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about those blood sugar spikes after eating refined carbs and sugar?
Uh-huh.
Well, a low-carb diet is all about minimizing those spikes.
Oh, okay.
Focusing on foods that have a gentler impact on your insulin levels.
So that's things like cutting back on white bread, pasta, sugary drinks.
Yeah, all that processed stuff.
Okay.
It's more about choosing whole, unprocessed foods that give you sustained energy and keep your insulin happy.
Gotcha. So like lots of vegetables, lean proteins.
Exactly.
Healthy fats.
Exactly.
Okay. It sounds like this approach is all about working with our bodies, not against them.
I like that.
We're not forcing ourselves to eat these tiny portions,
Yeah.
or fighting constant cravings.
Right.
We're giving our bodies the tools to manage insulin and burn fat naturally.
Exactly. And the best part is these strategies not only help with weight loss, but they also have amazing effects on your overall health.
Really?
They can reduce your risk of chronic diseases and boost your energy levels.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground already, but I feel like we're just scratching the surface.
We are.
I'm really eager to dive deeper into, the specifics of these strategies and all these other health benefits you mentioned.
Yeah, for sure.
So are you ready to keep going?
I am.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
All right, so we're back, and I'm ready to get into the how-to.
Okay.
Like, how do we actually put all of Dr. Fung's ideas into practice in our everyday lives?
Right. Well, the good news is you don't have to change everything overnight.
Okay, good.
Dr. Fung actually recommends a gradual approach.
Okay.
Trying different things out, seeing what works best for you.
Okay, so where should we start?
Well, maybe let's talk about some specific examples of intermittent fasting schedules.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
So one of the most common ones is the 168 method.
Okay.
You fast for 16 hours each day and then have an 8-hour window where you can eat.
Okay.
And a lot of people find this fits really easily into their routine.
Yeah.
They just skip breakfast and then have their first meal around noon.
So you're not necessarily changing what you're eating just when you're eating it.
Exactly.
Okay. I could see how that would be a lot easier to stick with than, some crazy restrictive diet.
Yeah. And remember, those fasting hours include sleep.
Oh, right. Okay.
So it's not as tough as it might sound.
Okay.
Now, if you're up for more of a challenge, there's the 5.2
Right.
method,
Oh.
where you eat normally for 5 days of the week and then restrict your calories to about 500 to 600 for 2 non-consecutive days.
That sounds intense, but I guess those fasting days could really kick things into gear.
Yeah. And, there's also the eat, stop, eat method,
Okay.
which involves a full 24-hour fast once or twice a week. But the most important thing is to find a protocol that you can actually stick with.
Yeah.
Long term.
It has to be sustainable.
Exactly. What works for one person might not work for another.
Okay.
So you got to find what's right for you.
Okay. I like that. It's about listening to your body and figuring out what you can sustain.
Right.
Okay, so that's the when.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the what.
Sure.
What are we actually eating during those eating windows?
Okay, so the key here is to remember we want to keep those insulin levels nice and stable. So we're going to focus on foods that don't cause those big blood sugar spikes.
Okay.
So think lots of colorful, non-starchy vegetables.
Like what?
Things like broccoli, spinach, kale peppers.
Okay.
They're full of nutrients and fiber,
Uh-huh.
so they keep you feeling full and satisfied. And then, of course, we need protein.
Okay. Yeah, protein's important.
Choose lean sources like chicken, fish, tofu, lentils.
Gotcha.
These help you build and maintain muscle mass, which is really important for a healthy metabolism.
Okay, so we've got veggies, protein.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Don't forget about healthy fats.
Oh, go.
They're essential on a low-carb diet.
Okay.
They're important for hormone production, brain health, and they also help you feel full.
So things like avocados.
Yes. Olive oil, nuts, seeds.
Okay. This is starting to sound less like a diet and more like a way of eating that I could actually see myself doing long term.
That's the goal.
But I have to admit, I am a creature of habit. I love my morning toast. I love my pasta dinners.
Right?
How do you deal with cravings when you're first making these changes?
So it's totally normal to have cravings.
Okay.
It's just your body saying, hey, I'm used to getting this quick hit of sugar.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. As you start nourishing your body with those nutrient-rich foods that we talked about, your cravings will often start to fade.
Really?
Yeah. It's like you're retraining your taste buds to appreciate different flavors.
Oh, interesting. So it's not so much about willpower as it is about actually giving your body what it needs.
Exactly. And, speaking of giving your body what it needs, let's talk about those health benefits beyond weight loss.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
So Dr. Fung talks a lot about type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
And he argues that insulin resistance is a root cause of this disease.
Okay.
When cells become resistant to insulin, the pancreas has to work overtime to produce more and more of it, which leads to those chronically elevated levels we talked about before.
Right. And we know that can lead to weight gain, that vicious cycle of hunger and fat storage and all sorts of other problems.
Right.
So by addressing insulin resistance, we could potentially prevent or even reverse type 2 diabetes.
Exactly. And there's actually a growing body of research that supports this idea.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Studies have shown that people with type 2 diabetes who adopt a low-carb lifestyle and incorporate intermittent fasting often see significant improvements in their blood sugar control.
That's amazing.
Some are even able to reduce or eliminate their need for medication.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is.
But what about other health issues?
Yeah,
Does this approach have any impact on things like heart health?
absolutely. Improving insulin sensitivity can have a really positive impact on your cardiovascular system.
Okay.
It can help lower blood pressure, improve cholesterol levels, and reduce inflammation,
Okay.
all of which are key factors in preventing heart disease.
So by addressing that root cause, the insulin resistance, we're basically tackling multiple risk factors at the same time.
Exactly. And the research backs this up.
Really?
There have been lots of studies that show a strong link between improved insulin sensitivity and a reduced risk of heart attacks, strokes, and other cardiovascular events.
This is starting to feel very empowering.
It is.
Like we actually have some control over our health. We don't just have to accept what our genes or, our environment throws at us.
Right. That's the beauty of Dr. Fung's approach. It's about understanding the connection between our lifestyle choices, our hormones, and our overall health.
And realizing that we have more power than we think.
Exactly.
So for our listeners who are feeling inspired but maybe a little overwhelmed, any advice for getting started?
Yeah, so first of all, congratulations on taking this step towards a healthier you.
Yeah.
And remember, you don't have to do everything at once.
Okay.
Start small, maybe try a shorter daily fast, or swap out some of those refined carbs for more nutrient-rich options.
Okay.
Pay attention to how your body feels and adjust from there.
So it's all about finding what works for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Okay.
There's a huge community of people out there who are embracing this approach, and they're there to support you.
That's great.
There are online forums, support groups. You can even find health coaches who can offer guidance and encouragement.
This has been such an incredible deep dive.
It has.
Dr. Fung's work is really groundbreaking, and it's giving us a whole new perspective on how to think about our health.
It is.
And we're not done yet.
Nope.
There's still so much more to uncover.
Yeah. In the next part, we're going to explore those broader health benefits we talked about. Things like the impact of insulin control on cancer risk and brain health.
Wow, this is exciting stuff. I can't wait.
Me too.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive into the Obesity Code. And wow, I got to say my mind is officially blown.
Yeah.
I knew insulin was important, but I never realized just how much of an impact it has on our overall health.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Like we've uncovered this whole hidden world inside our bodies, this intricate dance of hormones that affects everything from our weight to, our chances of getting sick.
Totally. And in this final part of our deep dive, we're going even further, right? Exploring how Dr. Fung's ideas can actually help us address some pretty major health concerns.
Right.
You mentioned cancer risk earlier.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Okay.
What's the link between insulin and cancer?
So research is suggesting that when your insulin levels are high all the time, it can create an environment in your body that's basically more welcoming to cancer cells,
Oh, wow.
making it easier for them to grow and spread.
So it's not that insulin directly causes cancer,
Right.
but it kind of adds fuel to the fire.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay.
Some studies have shown a connection between high insulin and a greater risk of certain cancers like colon, breast, and prostate cancer.
Wow, that's definitely something to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people are looking for ways to lower their risk of cancer, and it sounds like managing insulin could be a big part of that.
Absolutely. It's a really interesting area of research, and it just shows how important it is to take a holistic approach to our health.
Yeah.
It's not just about preventing one specific disease. It's about creating an environment in our bodies that supports overall well-being.
Right. It's about getting to those root causes, those underlying issues that contribute to so many different problems.
Exactly.
And it's not just about avoiding disease. It's about feeling good too, right? Yeah.
You mentioned something about brain health.
Right. Yeah. So our brains, they need glucose for energy.
Uh-huh.
And insulin helps get that glucose into our brain cells.
So if our insulin's not working properly, our brains aren't getting the fuel they need to function at their best.
So if our insulin's out of whack, our brains are going to struggle.
Pretty much. And over time, this can have a big impact on how well we think our memories, even our mood.
It's true. When my blood sugar's all over the place, I definitely feel foggy-headed,
Right.
irritable, just off.
Exactly. And on the other hand, when we get our insulin levels under control, we often see improvements in mental clarity, focus, just overall cognitive function. And some research even suggests that a low-carb lifestyle could help protect against neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
We started this whole deep dive talking about weight loss, but we've uncovered so much more.
We have.
It's like Dr. Fung's book is giving us this whole new understanding of how our bodies work and how we can be as healthy as possible.
It really is a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
And the best part is we're just getting started. There's still so much more to learn about how all these things are connected: hormones, metabolism, well-being.
Okay, I'm all in. I'm ready to take all this information and make some changes. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners who are feeling the same way?
Absolutely. Remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about your body, the better choices you can make for your health and happiness.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to experiment. Find what works best for you.
Okay.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
That's so important.
There's a whole community of people out there who are embracing this approach, and they're there to support each other, share their experiences.
So if you're feeling inspired to learn more about Dr. Fung's work, reach out, connect with others, and dive in.
Absolutely. And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about progress.
Yeah.
Every step you take towards a healthier lifestyle is a win.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Glad that we've officially cracked the code on the Obesity Code.
I think we have.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey.
It was fun.
It was. We hope you learned something new, gained a new perspective on health, and feel empowered to take control of your well-being. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep striving for a healthier, happier you.
Thanks for tuning into Chapter 2, where we break down the best books to fuel your growth and learning. If this book caught your interest, check out the links in the description to get the audiobook at no cost. Don't miss out, and support our channel while you dive deeper into these life-changing reads. See you in the next episode.